If you find that you keep looking around your life at the opportunities that you have, maybe at your career path, the relationships that you have from friendships to colleagues to the romance department, and you're not 100% satisfied, then this video is for you. I can teach you how to uplevel all of those things through the power of dark feminine energy. Not in some fluffy way, in a way that's actually psychologically grounded. Hello, if you are new here, my name is Bethany. I am the founder of the Curated Feminine. I've been working with women for over 4 years now to help them to step into the most powerful, incredible version of themselves through things like feminine energy and dark feminine energy. So today I want to talk about the most underrated aspect of dark feminine energy that I don't see spoken about nearly as much. So if you go and you Google dark feminine energy, or if you look at social media, especially TikTok and things like that, at dark feminine energy and what it means, you'll see a ton of things equivalent to like scripts to be sexier, or how to say this thing to get them to do what you want. And I mean, yes, but no. Or you'll see women teaching you how to be what's essentially like yourself, but on steroids and super spicy. And sometimes it's like spicy without a cause. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you woke up and you discovered what standards are yesterday. And so you just start discarding people from your life. And that's not where it's at either. The basis of dark feminine energy is authenticity. And the reason the basis is authenticity is when you are 100% yourself, it takes a huge amount of commitment to actually be authentic. It takes a huge amount of commitment to actually say, this is what my standards are and I'm sticking to it. This is what my standards are and I'm a match for my standards. Therefore, I actually deserve the standards that I'm setting in my life. That doesn't work for me. Therefore, I'm not going to do it. When you get to the point where you master authenticity at that level, everything around you can't help but up level, because you become like your own discerning compass. So you become like your own filtration system. So, what happens when a woman becomes insanely authentic? Not rebel without a cause, not spicy without a cause, not my standards are so high. And so I'm just going to up level every friendship that I have. Like, that's a really shallow version of dark feminine energy. A woman who has like full grown woman energy, who is grounded, who has wisdom, who has discernment, and who chooses to truly 100% be herself, a woman like that naturally filters out the relationships that won't work for her. She's a woman that is not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, why the hell was that catch up with my girlfriends the other day so disconcerting? Why was it so uncomfortable? Why is it that I'm having this specific issue and I'm thinking through my contacts list of who to call, and I don't know who to call because I don't think anybody can actually handle it? Why is it that I keep getting handed the crap work at my job instead of the things that I actually love? Why is it that I'm being disrespected by my clients? Why is it that my man is treating me like I'm kind of disposable? Why is it that I'm over explaining myself? Like, a woman who's truly discovered authenticity is not having that issue, because everything around her organizes itself in accordance with her level of authenticity. So, when you are extremely authentic, when you actually know what it is that you value, when you know that it is that you know what it is that you hold dear to your heart, when you know what you will and you won't stand for in your relationships, and you make decisions accordingly. And on top of that, you're kind, right? You're not out to get people, you're not out to cut people off. You're just kind. You think about what it is that other people need, but you also think about what it is that you need yourself, and you're able to balance the scales accordingly. Everything around you starts to organize itself for you. You don't have to do this massive culling session where you're cutting out friendships. You'll just find that the right, more authentic women are drawn to you because they are seeking that level of depth and authenticity themselves. So it would look like this. When you're lacking in authenticity, you'll go out for, brunch with a bunch of girlfriends, and you're looking around, you're just like, this conversation is shallow. Like, this conversation is not enough for me. And you really want to talk about this thing that's been weighing on you heavily, and you don't know if any of them can actually handle it. Like, that is a very lonely place to be. Or you'll be having a conversation with a man that you've been dating, and it's like he's half listening. Like, he's really not that interested in what it is that you have to say. And you can see that he's checking out, hot women, OnlyFans women, whatever, on Instagram and liking their posts, and you have no idea what to do about it because it hurts. It feels like micro cheating and you don't know how to explain it. Or he openly flirts with people in front of you as if you're not important enough to really care about. Or you go to a family reunion dinner and you have that uncle that says that weird thing that always makes all the women at the table uncomfortable, and everybody laughs it off, including you, when really you know what he's doing is wrong and you kind of want to punch him in the face, but you don't do it, right? Those are all signs that you haven't been living closely enough to your own authenticity to actually invite authentic moments, authentic friendships. A woman who has a really deep level of authenticity has girlfriends that she can call at any point who can handle every single part of her life. She can talk about, can I say sex on YouTube? I don't know. She can talk about sex. She can talk about sensuality. She can talk about that time last week that she was crying in the bathroom at midnight because something super painful happened. She can talk about the realization that she had that actually she needs to seriously up-level this part of her life or something's going to collapse. She can talk about, anything, and her girlfriends will be there for her, and vice versa. She's able to do that with them. So a woman with a huge level of authenticity is able to do that. Same thing with men. So here's the very interesting thing about men. If you ask most men what it is that they really want from women, like in dating, in being their life partner, being their wife, the number one answer is often authenticity. Most men want authenticity. Most men, what is this hair doing? Most men are seriously craving authenticity from women, and they never quite get it because most human beings have no idea how to be fully authentic. A woman with dark feminine energy does, though. When you are the most authentic version of yourself, men cannot help but be magnetized to you. And I'm talking like high caliber men cannot help but be magnetized to you, because a woman who's authentic, who's truly herself, she's not a pushover. She will push back when he says something that's inappropriate. And she knows how to do it graciously, right? She's not out to humiliate him. She's not out to embarrass him, but it's just like, no, Bob, I didn't like that. Very intimidating for the wrong man. Very magnetizing for the right man. When a woman actually says what it is that she's thinking and what it is that she means, and she doesn't collapse under pressure with men, she doesn't let him push her into doing anything that she doesn't want to do. Good men don't experience it as difficult. They experience it as real. They experience it as really authentic. And real is the only thing that you can actually build something with in life. Like when you're looking at a life partner, and good men are looking for life partners, when you're looking for somebody that you can build something incredible with, you need a woman who is actually self-possessed. You need a woman who has high standards that she doesn't apologize for. You need a woman who is warm, but she's not desperate for your attention. Men don't fall in love with women who don't need anything. They're falling in love with women who know exactly who it is that they are, because it's authenticity, right? And it's the same thing with friendships, with female friendships. Like the friendships that feel like a relief for your nervous system are the ones where you don't have to perform or manage yourself. And you can only do that in friendships where there's a high level of authenticity. Women who are really authentic know exactly what their needs are, and they're willing to voice it. So something that drives men absolutely insane is when women they don't know what they want. They can't articulate what they want because they haven't even met themselves at that depth yet. But women that do know what they want, it's like, okay, for a good masculine man, he's like, okay, I know what it is that I'm aiming for. I can actually assess if I can give you the thing that you want or not. And same thing with friendships. So if you've experienced this before, friendships where it's like you've got the girlfriend who never says what it is that she wants, never says what it is that she needs. She doesn't reach out when she actually needs help with something. She doesn't tell you when it is that she's struggling with something. And so it's like, I can't meet you where you're at. I can't help you. It's frustrating. But the friends that are really authentic are the ones that will actually say, like, I'm struggling with this week. Can you do this for me? Can you help me with this thing? Can I talk to you about this? When you're able to become the most authentic version of yourself, what happens is you start to have this intensity and depth that doesn't work for everybody. And that will naturally filter out the people that shouldn't be in your life. Like when you become the kind of woman who can face her own darkness, who can accept that there's parts of her that aren't super palatable, there's parts of her that aren't that attractive, there's sides of your personality that you really kind of wish you could get rid of, right? When you become a woman who's actually able to face those things, to face her own shadows and her own darkness, you will have this intensity and this depth that is not for most people. And so you will naturally filter out the shallow conversations, the shallow friendships, the workplaces that don't actually suit you. It wasn't until I did all of this work myself that I found a job in my career path, so my day job during the day in recruitment. It's not until I actually face all of those parts myself that I'm not perfect, that I have issues, that I have flaws, that I was able to actually interview the hell out of my employer. So I asked him more questions than he ever asked me, and then he hired me. It wasn't until I was able to do all of those things that I found a workplace that actually suits me and actually fits with my personality and actually gives me all the things that I need, right? Same thing with friendships. It wasn't until I was able to face myself and the fact that I have issues and I have flaws. I was able to accept my own intensity, my own depth. It wasn't until I did that that all of my friendships started to organize themselves around me. I did this exercise a couple of years ago where I thought about what it is that I actually wanted out of my friendships. And I was like, okay, I need more friendships that are local. I want to be able to do walks around my local lake more often. I want like a girlfriend I can go to Pilates with. Boom, she came into my life weeks later. I said, I want a friend who is like a ride or die. Maybe who has some, literally I did this. Maybe who has some masculine energy, who I can just fully be myself with, who can just tell me what to do sometimes, who is like so authentic and so herself and so open that I can crack jokes with her. Like, I really want a friendship like that. Boom. Like a few months later, a woman like that found me. And then about a year ago, I put on my vision board that I want a friend who has a similar career path as me, where I can really speak about coaching in a way that she'll truly understand. And I even put like, it can be sales, recruitment or coaching, doesn't matter, but I need somebody who really gets that aspect of me really thoroughly, who has a similar lifestyle to me. And boom, one of my closest friends now, we found each other through the coaching group that we're in. So you can only find friendships that are magnetized to you when you truly meet yourself, when you're able to see yourself for exactly who you are, when you're able to drop the good girl act and admit that you have needs and you have flaws and you have wants and you have desires and that you're not here to bend over backwards for other people. It's only when you admit all of those things to yourself and you're able to show up as yourself in friendships, you're able to say, this is what my values are. That doesn't align with me. These are what my standards are. That doesn't align with me. It's only when you're able to meet that side of yourself that all of your friendships, your romantic life, your career trajectory, your opportunities, everything will organize itself around you. So all of the work has to do with your inner work. Having all of the right relationships and opportunities in your life, all of that starts with the inner work, which is truly meeting yourself, truly accepting your flaws, truly accepting that you're not perfect, truly accepting what it is that you need, knowing exactly what you value. Once you do all of that, everything else around you starts to really organize itself. Now, if you are at the point in your life where you really want to tap into dark feminine energy, where you really want to tap into the most authentic version of you, if you're actually finally ready for that, because most women never get there, but if that's you, if you have the level of depth required for that, I have a course called the Dark Femme Method that will teach you how to do that. So I've taught you today why authenticity is so important. If you want to know how to actually tap into your authenticity, how to find out what your values are, and how to create a dream life, that little girl you always wanted, but you were never quite sure how to tap into, and you want to do all of that through the power of dark feminine energy, if you want to tap into that, I've got the link below to my Dark Femme course. You will love it, I promise. The other option for you is you can work with me in the throne room, which is my hypermind, where I answer questions on a weekly basis for the women in there. You've got a gorgeous group of women, and that room is specifically for women who can no longer settle for any level of inauthenticity in their lives, who want bigger conversations, who want growth, and they're not happy with shallow. So if that's you, the throne room is for you. That is also in the link in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.